everyone, it's April with Hair 101. I am going to show you how to do a long-haired men's haircut. Well, it's going to be short hair still, but for a guy's haircut, it's going to be long. I'm not going to use the clippers. It's just going to be done with shears and thinning shears. And so the first step is to get the hair shampooed, and it'll be wet still. And then we're going to go around the perimeter. So if you're not sure what the perimeter is, it's just anything on the edge of the hairline. So we're going to go around and do all of that first. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the right side on the ear, and I'm just going to comb the hair towards the ear here, and then just go along. And you can kind of see where the hair gets a little bit thinner and changes pattern. That's the line you're going to kind of cut along. And that's the natural hairline. You don't want to cut into the hairline because then you're going to have like a little bald spot. So make sure you stay right on that perimeter. And then just comb it down. Careful not to cut the ear right there. Just kind of pull the ear. I put my finger on the ear and just pull it down a little bit to tighten the skin. Alright, and once you get right there to where the ear pokes up, you can fold the ear back this way. Now you go in and just kind of cut. So then we're left with this little piece here. So you can comb it forward and then backwards until you've gotten all those little hairs. So it's just a matter of kind of combing the hair back and forth a few times to make sure you get everything. Just check it. And then we're going to go through and you're going to comb all of the hair towards the hairline this way. Make sure it's nice and smooth combed over there, and you're going to cut along the hairline. And then just follow the line down right here. Okay. Check it. There's another long one. Alright. Then we're going to go to the back. We're just going to cut a straight line in the back. And this little tip here, you want to start where the hairline, where the natural hair goes. So that's how short we're going to cut it. The hairline goes up a little bit over here for his hair, but we're just going to keep it straight. Just go in and cut it right along that line that you saw. And we can take the little T-edgers in later on and get the little bit of neck hairs if there is any, but for now we're just going to worry about the perimeter. So don't worry too much about any of the hairs that come down on the neck like that. You can just kind of leave them there until we clean up at the end. And then we're going to go do the same thing on this side. So you comb the sideburn and the hair back, starting up at the top and go down. And then fold the ear back. Just follow it around. And then comb the hair sideways like that, and then just this part you're going to flip your wrist up like this and cut down. It just is a little bit easier to keep a straight line. If you tried to do it like this, then your hand would be in the way of their shoulder, so you just need to do that little flip upside down and then use your thumb to open and close the shears until you go all the way down. Alright, so once again, these little things can be cleaned up later. So just double check that you got all these long hair around the ear. All right. So now I'm going to do around the face. We're going to go ahead and comb all the hair forward now. I'm going to go up and just kind of follow the shape again. And then that will give it this really nice taper back. And then the bangs we'll leave there. We'll just go on this other side really fast. Always make sure you're standing right in front of where you're working. And we're going to do the same thing, combing the hair forward this time, and then just follow along that little line there. Okay, so now we're going to start working on the interior of the haircut. I'm going to start with this front right side, and I'm just going to pick up a section about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch big and comb it. Combing is really important on this haircut. You just want to comb it a few times and then hold it out with your fingers. And then there's going to be this little short piece at the ends. You're going to go ahead and cut the hair to that length and just kind of taper it all the way up. So I'm starting, and it's a little bit shorter on the bottom, but then I keep that same straight line all the way to the top. So it's going to give it more length on the top. And then you do that and you just keep following it back. And you can see my little guide down here. You can see when I pull this hair up from where I cut on the perimeter, this hair is shorter than all this. That's my guide. There we go, just following it up. So you're just going to do that all along the side. And comb the hair forward sometimes just to give it a little check, and then backwards. And what that does is it just gives you a little bit different angle to make sure that you're not missing any little long spots. Comb it forward. Okay, so you're going to do that on both sides. And once you get back here to about the back of the ear, just stop and go to the other side. So now I'm over here. Now I'm going to be standing in front of the person you're cutting on now because you want to be working in front of where you stand. So you can start back here, and you're going to look for your guide right behind the ear right there and cut up from that and just kind of work forward this time. So both of those sides are done now. Now we're going to go into the back. Alright, so I'm going to do this like this. When you're cutting on the sides, you have your hands over the top like this. On the back down here, I'm going to take my hand and roll under like this and kind of just push my hand back against the shape of his neck. And this is going to give it a really nice shape down to taper in. Your fingers will just naturally fall that way. I'm going to go along all the way along the back here. Just picking up sections and rolling it across. And you're able to get really close into the neck here. Going. And here you can go back over the top to join it to that back section or to that side section that you just did. So now you're going to connect these two. Eventually they will match up and you'll be good. So now you see how this kind of just is the same length throughout there. We're going to do the same thing over here. We've already gone through like this and cut all this. Just go ahead and check it all on your way back over. Yeah. And then see this is that section, it's still really long right here. We're going to connect this section and this section together. So we're going to just go through here, just cut. All right, so now we have this longer, you should have like a little bit of a longer section right here on the back of the head. We're going to just go through that, starting right here at the back, and just taper it up from what you cut down here. This is now your guide. You're going to use that and go all the way up, keeping it longer on the top, just like you did on the sides here. Let's go through and cross-check it. And also another way to cross-check is you can just pull it up like this, and you can see if you have any really long pieces, like it kind of goes short and then long right there. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you see any really long sections, you can cross-check like that. All right. So I think we're pretty much blended all of the sides and around here. We're going to start on the top now. And you can see right here, there's still a little bit of hair around this perimeter that can hang over there. So we're going to go in and fix that in a minute. Don't try to worry too much about those little details. You're trying to get the main shape in right now. So we're going to go up and grab the top of the hair. And you're going to have to make sure that you don't cut the top too short. So we're just going to cut maybe an inch off of his hair, because I've been cutting about an inch off the rest of his hair and I'm doing a trim, so I know that that's about how much I need to take. If you're starting from scratch, you might just need to kind of guess, leaving it, if you want a longer haircut on top, just leaving a few inches. You can always take more off if you've guessed a little bit too long, but if you go too terribly short on top, then it won't blend onto the sides, so be careful with that. A good way to get a good guide would be to come over here on the front, and you can see how short it is. Kind of just point cut and blend those two together from the top to the bottom. And then that tells you about how long the rest of it should be. Same thing on this side. Blend those pieces together. So now we have the front that kind of blends in. Okay, so the top, we're just going to take this because we have the guide here. When you take all this hair and pull it up, the pieces that you just cut will be shorter. So that's where you're going to cut everything else too. And I just like to point cut the top. It just gives it a cute, cool texture. I guess not for boys, it's not cute, it's cool. So it gives it a cool texture if you just point cut. And then on here on the back, I'm going to move around to the back to do this back section. So you'll see when you pull this back up, you have your guide there and your guide there. So you're just going to be point cutting off that tall piece between the two. So once you have the mohawk trimmed, you're going to go back in and you're just going to blend from the section of your mohawk that you trimmed to the side. And so you're going to pull that hair up. You're just going to point cut that tip off. And you're just going to do that all the way back on this section. All right, and then of course when we do this other section over here, we have to switch sides. Always standing in front of what you're working on. And we're going to start in the back. So we're going to pull that up and you're going to find your guide here and your guide there, and you're just going to point cut to blend those two pieces together. Pretty simple. There we go. I'm just going to go back through and cross-check there and just add a little bit more texture into the top. And a good way to check this would also be you could just kind of comb it all up really crazy and just make sure you don't have any really long pieces. Make sure it all kind of blends out. All right. So now that you have the main shape of the haircut in, I'm going to go back through if it's kind of dried out and just comb it back down again. And now I'm going to go through and I'm going to just clean up all of the perimeter and the edges. So I'm going to get my little T-edgers. And I'm going to go through. And this is where you can decide how much of the sideburn you want to take off. I think I'll just do it to about there. So I'll just clean it up. And then right here you can take this sideburn and the hair up and just kind of blend a little bit. You can push it forward. So right here we have some long pieces around the ear. What you do is you just take those up and then you knock them off with the T-edgers. And you can even comb it and hold it. There we go. And then in the back, you're going to go through and you're just going to kind of shape out a really nice shape here. And clean up the neck. And these are Oster brand clippers, the Artisan Osters. I really like these ones because they can be cordless, or you can use them with the cord if the battery dies. And then we're going to go back up the side of the head. Do the same thing over here. Check your sideburns, make sure they're even. And just follow the ear again. And right here you can take your comb underneath, pop it up, and just clean up that little. You're pretty much just tapering it in a little bit tighter around the ear just so that they don't, it will make the haircut last a little bit longer and it just looks better because it doesn't hang over their ear. It's a good little trick to learn. Alright, so that is pretty much it. You can go through now, and this is what I always do. This helps it to blend really good too. You can see right here, it gets a little bit heavy around in here. So I always take my thinning shears, especially with how thick his hair is, and I just knock out a little bit of the ends just to blend them in. And you'll see that they just like fall really nice after you do that. And these, I think I got these at Sally's when I was in beauty school like 10 years ago. You can see they're like rusted, but they still work awesome. Like, these have been great for me. They're the 4420 taper fine. I think they still carry them because they're just awesome. You can just go through and great for beginners. Anything that's kind of not really blending well, you can just take in and make it look like a super professional haircut. This is really good for cowlicks too, because if you have a cowlick that's just like poking up, if you just take it and texturize it a little bit, it makes it lay down again. Make sure you stay on the ends with that though. You don't want to go too deep into the roots. So this is all mostly end work. It's not really going to make the hair look too thin because you're only cutting just in the very, very tips of it. Just do a little bit up top. And this is fun. You can just play, do it wherever you want. And I think this is really what makes the biggest difference with the haircuts looking really good, is texturing it and doing that, just eyeballing it, finding out where the spots are that look too thick or lay funny, and just going in and texturizing it and making it really shape well. And that's our haircut. You can throw some gel in that, or you could even spike this hair. You could do whatever you want with the style wise, but it's a longer men's haircut. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to my videos because we have lots of fun stuff coming up.